Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. No, I'm not wearing the same shirt that I was wearing in the last episode.
I have three of these. This is why.
Okay.
This
Well,
is
there
the
you
same.
go.
It is technically the same shirt.
But anyway, hope you're all doing really well. We are back for part 3 of HomeDadcon recap, where we're going to be talking about Saturday and probably the Sunday of everybody's sadness when we all head back home. But still, it'll be a lot of fun. So grab your coffee, have a seat, and let's get into it. So Saturday starts up with a little bit of a later start than Friday, which is nice. A lot of guys, are out having a good time on Friday night. So Saturday is great to be able to not get right back into it.
Saturday breakfast was very quiet. It was very quiet.
Very quiet, very scattered. You had the guys who were like, I'm up, I'm ready to go. And then you had the other guys who were like, I barely made it down here today.
I stayed up till not. And the beer share, and I went up to the beer share for just a few minutes the night before, and it was amazing. I mean, it was just so much good energy, and it's just kind of hanging around with your buddies at a bar or something, except there's less music and less noise. You have more opportunity to actually talk to people, and you're doing little tastes of beer, which for a lot of people, that's kind of what they want, as opposed to, hey, let's go to the bar and chug a few. I'm like, wait, what's that? I can't name beers, but what's that blah 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 from blah blah you have? Oh, well, here it's the October edition from 1940. I don't know, but it's really really amazing to see that that craftsmanship. And that appreciation of it. I mean, it's really much more than let's drink a lot of beer, And
exactly.
I don't go up there often because I don't drink beer, and I don't want to take beer from anyone else that would be drinking it. And I just kind of went in and just hung out for a little bit, and I had a pear cider, I think it was. Someone gave me something, and they were like, here, it's like 6%. And I went, I don't know what that means. I'm just going to drink it. Okay. And it was pretty good. And it was an actual cider. So I feel like I joined in, but just seeing the people there.
Oh yeah.
The connections, the family, it was amazing. And I am, again, so grateful that from the guys, the beer share group, that have really just made this into an art form. It's amazing.
Yeah, they did a great job for sure. I love the fact that there was a cart that had stuff that you could just walk by and pick up too, like lots of like really cool stickers from other breweries, which was a lot of fun. I came home with a stack of stickers. I'm like, all right, where am I going to put these all at? And then also too, Brian Frampton had sent with them some, they are cider mimosas. I haven't cracked one of those open yet, but they were just sitting there. I was like, are these also just for the taking? And they were like, oh yeah, we got like a case of them, and so we just put them out there for everybody to just grab. And so I ended up grabbing a couple of those because there were some left over, and I was like, my wife likes cider, like this will be great, like I can share some of this with her. And so picked those up, and then I think there was Frampton. Brian, he couldn't be here, but man, he showed up in other ways, so that was awesome. So they had that. And then also too, like there was just tons of like full cans of beers that you could just, and bottles that you could just grab out of the cooler and drink if you wanted to do that. And some guys were like, I really like that, and they just took they took one with them as well, and which was totally part of what it was to be able to take that stuff home and try it. I have to give a big thanks to Eric Shorberg, because he grabbed me up a special bottle, and that I was like, I'll pay you back for that. Get that for me. But it was an Oktoberfest type of a beer that was aged in a bourbon barrel. But before it got the beer in it, it actually had maple syrup aged in it. So it's this bourbon barrel aged maple syrup Marzen beer. And I was like, yes, please.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds good.
I know, right? It's like everything fall that you
Yeah.
want in a bottle. And so I have that, and I was telling the guys at the brewery, my guys, I was like, hey, I bought this bottle specifically to bring back to share with you guys. So I got to get
Nice.
that over there so we can crack that open, and everybody can get a taste of it. So yeah, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah,
Well, I didn't do beer, but
oh, I heard about this.
I don't know what this is. Paul
Yeah.
Gordon gave me 2 little bottles of bourbon. He said, well, it was because Eric had to leave early. Unfortunately, his kids were sick and they needed him.
Right.
And so he left some stuff, some tables and things, and I'm going to take them back to him since we live pretty close.
Yep.
And he said, well, listen, this. And he said, and he's got a bag with 9 bottles of bourbon in it. I'm like, 9 bottles? He goes, 9 taster bottles.
9
I'm like,
taster
okay.
bottles. Yeah.
9 taste. So 7 taster bottles in a bag. Gotcha. He goes, no, 9 taster
9.
bottles. I was like, gotcha. 7 taster bottles in a bag. He's like, no, Danny, you cannot screw with Eric's bourbon.
Yeah,
Okay?
they can't mess with our bourbon,
Like,
our bourbon share.
I wouldn't. It was just funny. It was just funny.
But there were extras though, so right.
Right. Yeah. And when I gave him a ride home actually, and he gave me these 2. He told me what the first one was, and I don't remember. I'm gonna have to ask him again. But
You can't tell me what it is, so I can't know.
He didn't know what the second one was, and it
Does it
doesn't
not
have
label?
a label or a number or anything.
Oh,
And he was
okay.
like, yeah, so here's this one. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm the guy. Give me the weird bourbon. I'll try it and we'll see what happens,
That's awesome.
But yeah, I wanted to point that out because I appreciate it. Thank you, Eric, and thank you, Paul, specifically, because you guys made that happen for me. So
that's cool. Yeah, I've got my 9 here. We will be scheduling our bourbon share night where we get to go through them and figure out what they are. It's a lot of fun actually.
Oh, cool.
It's like a whole different version of like the beer share, only we just basically like we'll pour a little bit in, try it, kind of figure out what the notes are, try to figure out what proof it is. Most of us are not going to figure out what the name of it is because everybody's always trying to bring something obscure in, but then based on the numbers, he can tell us like this is so and so's bourbon, and then after we've tried it, then that person actually will present to you like this was the actual percentage and this is what it is, and that kind of thing. And so we all have cool. Like I usually take an index card and I'll like write down all of them, so it's a lot of fun.
That's neat. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, we did it actually right after the board retreat, actually, when we were meeting up with everybody. That's when it all started. So but yeah, 9 bottles is a lot though to do. That's almost an entire bottle of bourbon when you split it up between 9 guys.
You'll be fine.
It's all good. So Saturday, Saturday morning's keynote kicked off with Melissa Davidson, who was on the show. She was so excited to be at the convention. I loved it. And she came in and just her whole conversation about the importance of connection was great. The hands-on with the cards was awesome.
Values. Oh man. Yeah.
And so just to be able to have that in your hand and put that out and work with it was great.
I don't know how much I think we only want to talk about what she talked about, on the podcast. So we're not like revealing any secrets. But she probably is very open about it. Feel free to get in touch with her. She'll tell you. But her having the package of cards and us able to pull those out and look at the things that we value.
Yeah.
Now it was 20 cards, I think, and you had to boil it down to 3, which was difficult for a lot of people. I mean, there's because what this, like she mentioned when she was on the show, respect. Like, what does respect mean to you, right? And some guys, as an example, like, well, I mean, does that mean how I respect myself, or how I respect my partner, or how my kids respect me? Where, what does it do? And she just said, you tell me. When you see that word, where does it fall? What does it mean? And it was very personal, and I love that she did it. And I sent her an email afterwards because I talked to her a lot at the convention, and I said, I can't be professional in this. I just want you to be aware. I just want to scream, Melissa, oh my God, and just like, this was very well done. You did.
She would receive that really well.
So she did, fortunately, and she fit in so well at the convention. And really made a lot of connections with a lot of people, and she was just such a boon to the entire organization, I think, and to the convention. But yeah, it was amazing. And I think anybody that needs to check out her, it's perceptiveparents.com, and she's also on LinkedIn, and just fantastic.
Yeah,
Seriously.
definitely. So definitely a great way to kick off everything for
Mhm.
that Saturday. And two, like, because after that, we got ready for the annual meeting and to vote for new board members. And so
Mhm.
that in itself, like, there's a lot going on there. we had a lot to take care of. Annual meeting went really well. I feel like, we presented a lot of information. There were a lot of good questions. We had it on Zoom so that guys could jump in and have
Mhm.
conversations that couldn't make it there. And the board voting went really well online, so that was good. But along with that whole time, we also at that moment like did some presentations, and this was, I think, the part that, like, it's always exciting because you're like, ooh, who's getting these things? But we started off with the Hogan Hilling Award. And the Hogan Hilling Award, we went through and had all of the people who were nominated for that, which I don't think I have that in my notes here exactly. I don't know if is it in here? No, there's the board people. I'm trying to look through my program. I don't think we had them in here. Oh yeah, here it is. Sorry. Nominees for Hogan Hilling this year were Joshua Bernston, Arvis Brackeen, Shannon Carpenter, Greg Clapp, Kyle Denny, Paul Gordon, and Eric Shorberg. All these guys have done amazing things volunteering for this organization, especially in the past year. And the winner of the award was Greg Clapp, who
Mhm.
has done a ton. He's the Milwaukee Dads group organizer. And he was the guy who pitched Milwaukee for us to come to, and did a great job with that. So
Yeah, every step of the way, Greg. If you hear this, man, I've told you in person, and I think you've heard it 1,000 times. But, oh my God, you knocked it out of the park. Everything.
Yeah. And
So,
and him and partnering up with Keith Nagel to run things, like,
mhm.
probably one of the smoothest run conferences in a long time. They just they meshed well. Everything was running so smoothly, and even if it wasn't running smoothly, most people didn't even pick up on it, honestly. I think it
Yeah,
was
little
just well
blips on the
done.
radar. Yeah, it was well
Yeah.
done.
So that was can't even that was the first one. And then for the second one, we actually had a brand new award. I don't actually, with this one, we don't actually have the nominees on here for, because we had to keep it a secret.
Yep.
Which is fine. It'll be on next time, but next year. But we created an award called the Al Watts Alumni Award. And the reason that we created this award, the board did, was because we have dads who maybe they're not active as much, but they've done a ton of things in the past to get us to where we are. And some of them are still doing different things, but we wanted a way to honor them, because from time to time you get somebody who says, hey, like, this person's done a lot, like, let's get them in the Hogan Hilling. And Hogan Hilling is sort of like, what have you done? Like, it's sort of the, what have you done for the organization lately type
This
setup.
last usually year or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the alumni award is sort of like a culmination. It's like basically like a legacy award, I guess, is another way to put it. And so we named it after Al Watts. We did not tell him we named it after him until he got to see it, and which already sent him into tears. And then we went through the nominations for that, and guys that were nominated, of course, we had Al on there. We nominated Shannon Carpenter, Greg Washington, forget who else was on there.
Hogan Hilling, I think.
Hogan Hilling, I think, was on there. I think that was pretty much it for that one. Chris Routley, I think, maybe was one of the other ones that got put on there, I believe, as well.
Now that you mentioned it. Yep. Sorry, Chris, I forgot.
There's a lot to remember.
There's a lot to remember. Yeah, if you don't write it down, I get it. And
yeah,
and I want to say a lot of these names, especially with our new members, you're not going to know who they are unless you met them. You know, a lot of people, I think, will know Shannon Carpenter because of his book. But if you think Hogan Hilling, well, who is he? Did we even see him this year? Yada yada. And again, his kids have aged out. He has moved on and done other things for dads and fatherhood. And that's a reason why we think of his name, and same with Al and same with Chris, all of these people that, yeah, you've moved beyond or outside of this specific organization, this network. Even you did great and tremendous things here, but you're also advancing fatherhood outside of the network and going in your own directions in some ways. So yeah, it was a definite award that needed to exist, I think.
Yeah. And so the person who got this award, they've done things with setting up our newsletter. They were in charge of kind of getting things going with a blog for the organization, which really hasn't been something that we kept going. But at the same time, like, he also was my mentor for social media, getting things put in place for that, and also the newsletter as well. And so Shannon Carpenter was the recipient of the inaugural Al Watts Alumni Award. And he was, of course, like surprised as all get out. It was so funny too, because he was dressed up, but he was dressed up for a completely different reason, which was even funnier. Like, he was dressed up for the Turf Valley filming that they were doing prior to
slacks
that.
And a purple shirt and a black vest and sandals with black socks. I'm not kidding. Sandals with black socks. Come on, Shannon.
But I love it because like,
it's so Shannon.
Here he is dressed up, and it's almost like, did I just get completely punked on this? Like, what's going on? It was just so funny. You could see it on his face too. Like, he was registering it. Like, did I get punked? Is this what's going on here? Because he was dressed up, and so it was so neat to have him come up there. And Mick was pretty much beside himself. He was overtaken with emotion, which is great because I mean, he has such a love for his friend, and he has been such a advocate for Shannon with everything that he's done. And so
I think it's okay if we say, and you can edit this out if not, that Mick had put Shannon's name in for the Hogan Hilling Award.
Yeah.
And he truly believes, and I think we all agreed that he deserved it, but also Shannon deserved more, because of his almost lifetime of work that he's done for us. And I was like, when he heard that he didn't get the Hogan Hilling Award, I wanted to just go sit with him and go, don't just hold on.
Yeah.
Deep breath. Just wait a minute, wait 5 minutes, and you'll feel so much better. You'll feel so good about everything if you just give us 5 minutes, because that moment of come on. I know Greg did an amazing thing, but Shannon's been doing amazing things, like nationwide for years, and his love again for his friend and the appreciation of the things that he's done. And I felt like, oh, sorry, Mick. But just wait a minute.
I think that's why it probably had such an even bigger impact on him. He's like, oh my gosh. Like, it just took the breath away from him. So but that was just a great moment for that day and everything. So lots of fun there. And I'm very excited for that award. I think it's going to be awesome. Also really glad to see that, you got your Hogan Hilling Award there, member's name. Awesome.
I do right here. I put it on my desk. It looks great, doesn't it? I always wanted a trophy.
It's amazing what happens when you mess up when you're sending orders in.
Hogan Hilling Award 2023. I got the date wrong too. Presented to member name in gratitude for your dedication and hard work. I'm so touched. I'm so touched. Yeah, I love it. I'm keeping that too, because I mean, what else would I do with it? I'm not going to throw it away, and I can't send it back. But yeah, I'm going to set it, and I'm going to put my Hogan Hilling certificate right up there. I'm like, no, I want it. Gosh. I just screwed up the year and the name. It's fine.
It's appropriate.
Hilarious. Anyway, all right. So lunch, and
so we did lunch.
Our new board members. So who won?
Our new board? Yeah, so new board members were announced, and they are Kyle Denny, Paul Gordon, and Chris Griffin. And and honestly, like, I'm excited to see what these guys do. They've all had different capacities. Kyle and Paul have had the most interaction capacity wise with committees and planning and things like that. So they bring a lot to the table on that side. Chris is new as far as this is only his second conference coming to for HomeDadcon, but he's been very active and in different areas. So I think that it's going to be really good. It was so funny too. I told my wife, I was like, they voted in a guy who he came last year for the first time and then got on the board this year. And she's like, yeah, why is that surprising? You went to one and got on the board. I'm like, I wasn't surprised. I was like, it was just cool to see. Like, it's great to see, the younger dads getting involved. That's important for continuation of an organization.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Yeah. So we got,
Congratulations to all three.
yeah, congratulations to all you guys. So they got announced, and then before we ended lunch, I had a special request come in prior that night from Paul Anticio, and Atencio. I can never
Atencio?
say Atencio. Yeah, he couldn't make it because of he was being dad. Of course, family comes first. His daughter was turning 10, and her birthday party was on Saturday, and so he messaged me and was like, "Could you guys sing happy birthday to my daughter?" And I tried to get a hold of him so we could do it on FaceTime, but it actually turned out even better because I was able just to have everybody sing and record it and send it to him.
Mhm.
So he had it on recording, and then he recorded his daughter watching it on their iPad and got her reaction, and then
Yeah.
she like sent back a thank you to everybody, which it was so much fun to hear like 100 guys in a room singing happy birthday. It turned
Yep.
out really well. The video is awesome. So that was a lot of fun.
I'm going
And then,
to borrow that video because my sister-in-law has a birthday coming up, and shares the same name, which of course we're not going to say the child's name, but and I'm gonna just show it to her and just let her watch it. And she's like, "Oh my God!" I'm hoping she'll be like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Yeah, that's not about you. Why is everything got about you? Huh? This is a different person. You're just stealing someone's fire."
You're just
But
taking are you taking a page out of Daniel
come on.
Wilkerson's book on airplanes and shit?
That's right. That's right. The man duped me multiple times. I gotta save face somehow, man.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm curious. You'll have to let me know how that goes because that sounds hilarious. So we had our first breakout session, which was how to maintain a healthy relationship with your spouse with Derek Tetlow. We had our second men's health support group breakout, and also had the Dadennial for the millennial, which was Mike Trink.
Mhm.
This was the time of the day where I didn't make it to any of these because I was recording Turf Valley episode. So I was
You
up trying to.
slacker.
But it was so much fun. I got to feel a little bit of Hollywood.
I understand. I'm jealous. I was jealous and a little disappointed. I didn't get to go. I missed my schedule.
I know.
But it happens. It happens. But I was looking forward to hearing Derek Tetlow again. He does do a meditation session for us every convention, or has for last several conventions. But more importantly, I've talked with him a lot over this last year. He and I both have ADHD, and we cannot have phone conversations or video conversations unless we have a committed hour for 10 minutes of talking. We've got 10 minutes of stuff we got to talk about. Well, we need an hour because we're just going to go off. So we've talked a lot over the last year, and it was really because he did one about high commitment spouses previously, which was well attended and well placed. I mean, we're talking to a lot of people who have high commitment spouses, but maintaining that healthy relationship. And I can't wait to see the video on it and the recording of it. But the reviews that I heard were all very good. Derek's a very good speaker, and I'm glad he's here to help us. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And I, of course, like I said, I didn't make it to either one of those, but so I don't really have anything that I can say about what went on with Mike Trink's presentation, but I imagine it was great. Like getting to talk to him previously on the podcast, I'm sure like that was like well attended and probably had a lot of depth there. But like that's another one of those videos that'll be available for others to check out. So and then we went right into the second breakout for Saturday, which was Derek Tetlow doing the dad's married to high committed spouses. Yep. And then there was overcoming imposter syndrome and fatherhood with Jordan Brown and Amy Dell, and sewing for the at-home dad with Sarah Gordon, which is Paul Gordon's mom. I went to
delightful.
The sewing.
She's so delightful.
She's a sweetheart. And so she came, and she had a good turnout. There were like 10 or 12 guys in there, and she had made little packets for them all with like, for doing different stitches and stuff. And it was probably one of the more technical recordings because we were trying to record what she was doing with her hands, and then also like getting everything else that was going on. So it was like I recorded one way, Paul Gordon was recording another way, and we're like following her around the room in different aspects. It was hysterical. But the guys in there seemed to really enjoy it, and all had different reasons for why they wanted to be in there and to learn different things. I love it. One of the guys was like, yeah, so when I go home and I tell my wife I came to this thing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to try your sewing machine. Like, if you touch my sewing machine, I will cut your fingers off. It was pretty much what he felt he would hear.
It is still off limits.
Yeah, just because you went to one class, that does
Mhm.
not give you the
Right.
right to touch my sewing machine. So, but yeah, so that was a great time. And honestly, like I always like it when people bring their family in like that for,
Mhm.
like they're introducing them to something that they're really passionate about. So his dad was even there too, sitting in the back
Oh yeah,
for it
nice.
as well. So they were both there.
I didn't get to
But yeah,
meet him.
she's a character, and full on grandma, like
Mhm.
but at the same time is like ready there to like zing her son with different different things as well.
Yep.
So
Delightful.
yeah, it was great. It was really good. Did you go to one of the other ones?
I went to Overcoming Imposter Syndrome and Fatherhood.
Nice.
Jordan Brown and Amy. Jordan and Amy are amazing. They sat through with the mental health breakout with us, just for the same reason that Mike Trink had done so. And they immediately said, "This is not our space, Danny. We're here to help in whatever way. So you tell us what you want us to do. If you want us to talk, if you want us to just react, if you want us to just answer questions, or if you just want us to leave." And they were very, very open about it and very aware of what it means to be in a safe space and in a men's mental health group and a dad convention, and they said there were no offense, you're not going to hurt our feelings. It's not an issue. And I explained that, we mentioned previously that there would be two mental health specialists in there and that they were women, and that if anybody had an issue with it, they could go Saturday or just let us know. And everyone was okay with it. Everything was fine. And I really appreciated their support in that and that understanding of what this place means to us.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to go in about imposter syndrome anyway. It's something that I feel often, especially when it comes to doing a presentation like I did, an opening keynote. And literally, who am I to do this? Who am I to even talk about self-care? Okay, I know who I am. And I'm just going to say I'm good at it. I can do public speaking well, and it's hard for me to say that. It's very I'm working with my therapist
you
on
hold
saying
your
this out
own
loud.
definitely.
But for them to be there and to offer that was amazing. It was just another moment where we look at each other and say, okay, this is a problem that I deal with. This is how I feel. I don't feel that I'm a good father. I look at, I do this and this, or I don't do this and this, and how that makes me feel and how I can get around that feeling, process that, and then look at the reality of the situation and things that we say to each other. Like it could be anything. Like I could say, I'm not a very good public speaker. Okay, well, that's the phrase you've got running in your head. How can you change that to be positive? Right. And what can you actually say that would help you to move forward with that or whatever? And it was just very well done. And I honestly went there just selfishly. It was really one of the only things that I did this weekend strictly for myself as far as presentations and breakouts.
Good.
So yeah, I again, self-care, self-care is best care. So I really enjoyed their presentation. We did a little coloring too, which
there you go.
I always find delightful. It was like, here, pick out some. Ooh, really? Can I take them with me? No, I got to leave them. Oh, that's fine. At least I get to use them. Yeah. So it was really good. It was well done. And I wanted to go to Derek's again. But I looked at it, I'm like, I want to go to Derek because I want to support him. And that's great. But that's not what I need. I need to go to the one on imposter syndrome and drill down into that a little bit for myself. So, and I know Derek, of course, understands that.
I wanted to go to Derek's as well, but they needed somebody to go up and record the other one.
Especially with two cameras running, man.
I know, exactly. So yeah, they were like, we really need you up here. I'm like, all right, fine. Like I will get to listen to Derek's later. So that's not a big deal. But yeah, so that went really well. And then, kind of closing up for Saturday was a really fun panel with Turf Valley, and they just talking about how they're filming that series, and really showcasing what they do in that. And I think for a lot of the guys who had never seen the show before, it was just a great representation of the whole show and all the aspects of it. And it was just so much fun to hear Adam and Thomas talk about it. And then, later to actually partake in like what will be like a scene in there where everybody, is in there. And from what I understand, Shannon had an interaction with Tyler and convinces him to like get up and speak to everybody at the convention, which honestly is not something that would ever happen. But hey, it's Hollywood, so
right.
And just that side of it, and to do the different takes and hear him, like we were all, everybody was having a good time, everybody was laughing, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm glad that they came and they actually like wanted to include us, and like just the same as we're trying to like boost people's signal, like that's their thing, like they're wanting to come in and boost our signal, which is so like just it's kind of mind-blowing, like you're like, man, like they really want to get behind us and just scream from the mountaintop, like love it.
Yep.
So great relationship being built there with them.
I'm hoping that they will send us all of the stuff that they don't use, all the
deleted scenes,
all the deleted scenes, all of the, all the attempts. And I don't know how, much they'd want to publish that kind of thing, but I love that whole session of us just yelling out things to Tyler, and he did. So of course he's an actor, so that's what he does. He's very skilled, but his ability to kind of ad lib with it and roll with it, and it was just really, it was a lot of fun.
He reacted all of it really well.
He did. He really would. And it was just like, oh yeah, that, and then he throws it in, and it was good. I like it. I love ad lib stuff. It's so creative.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So that was a lot of fun. And then to kind of end the whole day and wrap things up, Jonathan Heisegrove got up and just presented a closing remarks, and it was his final presentation as president of the organization. And he did such a great job just walking through his time in leadership role, and just being able to share what that meant to him and kind of the things that he went through, and then also too to show like what the org has gone through. Like it was just really well prepared and well delivered, and I would expect nothing less from him, honestly. Like he's a very well organized guy, and but he trying to make everybody like squint tears out for sure, because he definitely was pulling on the heartstrings.
Yeah, he didn't have to try with me. He got a standing ovation.
Did get a standing ovation.
I couldn't stand up.
No,
I was just sitting there crying and clapping, and I'm just going to cry again because I'm going to miss him. I mean, I know he's not going anywhere per se, but and we're getting a new president, and I think the new president, whoever that might be, is probably going to do a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah,
and I know we're still going to be making progress and doing things, but JHG's been there throughout my entire even experience with the board, and before I even was on the board.
Yeah.
And him, and you and Charlie, and I understand these times happen, but yeah, I'm gonna miss you all. So
yeah, no, definitely. It was so like, well, and two, like, with JHG, like I was a part of the board that actually, voted to bring him on, because we needed to fill a seat, and we wanted somebody that, we felt came in with a lot of strong attributes. And I'm so glad, because he turned into to be so much more than what I had thought. Like I would, it wasn't like I was voting him in because I was like, oh yeah, like he's going to be like the next president, or even like in a power position like that. But he stepped in and just was like, it was obvious, like he was going to fill a greater role than just a seat on the board. So yeah, very, very happy with that. And then you came and surprised me with a Stein that was at the beer share, which I love. Like it's so cool because it's Drew Estates, cigar company, beer stein, and
Yeah,
it's legit. Like
it is
it is a
legit. And
legit beer stein.
Sergio was telling me about how you normally get those, like how those, and because the pricing was not like huge on that one, let's say. And he said, "Do you know what that is?" I'm like, "No, I don't." He started telling me, and I'm not going to say it here because it sounds like I'm bragging. But I looked at it. I'm like, Sergio, I need you to let me have this. And he said, "No, man, we could get so much more money for it, or whatever." And I'm like, I know. But yeah, we saw this. Brock saw this. He said he wanted it and had to have it, and he hasn't put a bid in on it, and I'm going to give it to him. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, of course." And he said, "I won't bid anymore." And so I think I went $5 over what he'd put or whatever. And yeah, and it was a moment where we got together and said, we appreciate Brock.
I
that out.
It was very kind and very unexpected. So like, yeah,
Good.
well, and I love my cigars. I love German heritage. Beer steins are awesome, and it's not a common thing for a cigar company to come out with a beer stein. So
very rare,
very, very special. And so, yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. It was definitely something. It was like, oh, I'm going to need a moment.
We're good.
So,
you're welcome. And I love you. And thank you for all you've done.
Thanks. All right. Now we got to stop. No, I was kidding. So that was where things ended for Saturday programming wise. Everybody kind of dispersed. They the board and people and some of the volunteers broke down the main room. And guys sort of dispersed amongst the city to go eat at different places. Charlie and I, we've been talking for a while about the fact that we wanted to honor CJ Trader after his passing a couple years ago. And so we went down the street to the local Irish pub and ordered doubles of Tullamardoon Irish whiskey and sat there and drank those, toasted to him, and watched the beginning of the Notre Dame Ohio State game.
Very cool.
And then when everything was situated, met up with the board across the street at Oak Barrel for some dinner. So that was nice. And then you had board games you had games in the main room during the night and the beer share going on. So it was just a great kind of wrap of everybody getting to just enjoy the last night together doing fun things.
I went and played Kinder Perfect, which I'd played previously. I think it was Cincinnati was the last one. It's a card game like Cards Against Humanity, but specifically about parenting. And just hilarious and of course fun. Awful at times too. But it has specifically a card I know of for at-home dads.
Oh, cool.
And the first time we played it, it came up and I'm like, what? No way. I'm taking this card home. I'm taking this card home and putting it on the wall somewhere. And of course, I think it was David Yoakum that brought it the first time. And he may have brought this one again, but he's got all the expansions. And so it was 2 huge piles of cards to draw from. And we had 4 or 5 guys sitting around the table. We were laughing so hard. I mean, things would come up and it was just that. I mean, I hadn't even met. I think I'd only met I think it was 2 people that I hadn't met, whatever. And we just immediately bonded and started hanging out and just had that rapport and started playing, really bad card games together. And it was great. It was amazing.
That sounds like a fun game. You said it's called Kinder
Perfect.
Kinder Perfect. All right.
It's an adult game.
That's even better.
Clarify. I just want to clarify.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. It's
not great.
It's not Kinder as children. We do not play with children. It's not.
No, that's great. No, that sounds like a fun game though to play with some of my friends here in town.
Anybody with kids. Yep.
Yeah. So the beer share went really well. As also they had a great turnout of folks. It was funny. I was up there. Greg Washington showed up for a little while there to hang out with everybody, which was like he snuck in, man.
I found out about that the next day.
Yeah,
I didn't even heard he was there.
Such a punk.
That's all right. Yeah.
one of the things I thought was funny was there was a person who I saw where they tried a mead for the first time. We had there was some mead that showed up,
Yeah.
and this person had never had it before. They also, but they're like role playing person who goes to like Renfest. They've never had it, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good!" I'm like, "Yeah, if you've never had mead before, you're missing out. Like
Mhm.
that is a necessity of life."
Yep.
Whereas some were saying it's a nectar of the gods type of deal,
Mhm.
and they're not wrong. It's so good. But that was awesome that they had. It wasn't just beer; like they had other things there for people to try, but they were all very special. The funniest part was they had a huge, I mean, massive bottle, like one of them big champagne bottles that's like 2 foot tall or something crazy like that, that had a special beer in it.
The
And
Magnum, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of auctioning it off, they decided to open it up and just share it with everybody in the room, which was such a cool
It was
experience.
good. The only thing I tasted though. It was good.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. But the beer share in the end, man, they ended up raising, I believe it was over $6,300,
Mhm.
which is just mind blowing because that's along with what already is sitting in the share fund or what is sitting in the scholarship fund that goes in there too. And the committee is we're so excited to be able to just have that and really just be able to hopefully bring a lot of guys
Yep.
to the convention, and so that's really exciting.
Mhm.
But yeah, the committee, they did an amazing job. That I don't know it. We could have a whole nother show about just talking about them, honestly, like because
Mhm.
it was so great what
Agreed.
they were able to pull together. But they worked their butts off, and
Yep.
for such a great cause.
Agreed.
Yeah. So that was how things ended for the convention itself. Midnight struck, and it was sort of a do your own thing. And there were guys who were up late talking. I know I heard guys like I think Quetzal had to leave at like
Uh-huh.
4 o'clock in the morning, and he was up talking to Paul until like 2 and like
Yeah.
packing and whatnot. Like, and he never
No
even told
sleep.
Paul the entire time. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got to catch a flight like in a couple hours," type of deal.
Yeah.
But just there were lots of guys like that, and you know, it it was it was just a great time. And Sunday morning, is always a sad time because you say goodbye to everybody, but it was so nice to just have that moment to have some breakfast and jump in a car and either catch a plane or drive home or whatever. And yeah, it was I had some moments where it was definitely a tough convention for me in different areas. I remember on Friday, my wife Corey messaged me and was like, "How's it going?" And I'm like, "Or are you enjoying your time at the convention?" And I said, "No, I'm not actually enjoying my time at the convention. It's been a really tough day, just a lot of things going on. So, but it turned out really well. It took a little bit more to grind through it,
Mhm.
which I
Yeah.
think happens from time to time.
Well, and I don't think, as much as we talk about the convention, how wonderful it is for us, it's run by volunteers. We're all human. We all make mistakes.
Right.
And a lot of times we just miss things,
Yep.
and even if especially if we're tired, if we stayed up too late, or whatever it might be, that, if you talk to me before I've had breakfast, I can probably talk to you and not get grumpy but realistically, I'm just going to shut my pie hole and eat, and
Yeah.
then I'll be an okay person. But times like that, and we have those all throughout the day, and just, we're not perfect. Like I said, we grind against each other sometimes and ruin
Yep.
somebody else's day and don't even mean it. But I think that's the thing, is we don't mean it, and hopefully
Exactly.
your overall experience is always positive.
Yeah, it definitely was. So that's the main point of it, is that it turned out to be good. It had a lot of energy involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then drove home, took a bit there, took one of the new attendees who lives in Indianapolis to his place.
Cool.
And it was just nice to have somebody in the car for that drive.
Mm-hmm.
And we stopped at the cheese castle on the way down and picked up cheese curds and some other things
Like you do. Like
because
you
why
do.
not? So I was
Yeah.
like, I came home with the Wisconsin essentials. Hot dogs that were made, deer hot dogs, so meat,
Mhm.
cheese, and beer.
There
I
you
had the
go.
trifecta. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You're set. All you need is a football game, and you're
Well, I
living
had
in
that on
Wisconsin.
I got that on Sunday too,
That's
because
it.
you
Perfect.
had, or sorry, Monday night. My bad, Monday night. I got the Bengals game on that Monday night, so
Perfect. The
all
perfect
good
day.
there. But yeah, and you drove home as well,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I took Paul Gordon home. So went to his place first, dropped him off. Was glad that I took the Suburban. He did
Yeah.
have I think like 3 coolers, and then I had two tables for Eric and a box for Eric, and then Paul's bag and 2 bags of golf clubs and a
Oh
whole
yeah.
bunch of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's a Suburban. It ain't no big deal. We can put, yeah, we can get somebody else in here. It's not a problem. So I was really glad to have brought it. It was a concern of mine as far as gas mileage and parking and all that other stuff, but it works great. And it did exactly what I needed it to do. So I got to take Paul home. We had a good conversation on the way home about a lot of different things. He had some venison sausage that he had made and
Yeah.
brought to, and he had extra. So he gave me like 5 meat sticks, and I've eaten 4. I'm just gonna say, and the big old thing of sausage, which I'm not opening until tomorrow night, I believe, when my wife and I are going to sit down and watch a movie together, and I'm going to do a charcuterie with. And
Yeah.
she's like, "Are you sure we can't just go ahead and eat that?" Because she loves venison sausage too, and I'm like, we can, but I think we should wait. And
Listen, lady, I'm trying to make this special,
right,
okay?
yeah, I'm trying to give us a moment together, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it was great. It was delicious, and I can't wait to eat the rest of it. And I think we will hurt ourselves if we eat that entire thing of
Ooh.
sausage, because it's a big one. But at the same time, I'm looking at it going, I don't want to end up halfway through the movie and like, I'd like some more sausage. Oh, we ate it all yesterday, so
Sounds
doing
like
what
one
we
of those
could.
ones where it's like you just grab it and you just like bite out of it and drink beer at the same time. You're like, this is
Yep.
mine.
Some cheese, yeah, get some
Yeah.
squeaky curds, and
There you go. Exactly.
can't wait.
Well, to finish things off, I think that we'd be remiss not to mention where we're going for next year. So for next year, we will be in St. Louis at the Drury Hotel, which is right beside the Arch. I mean, like right beside it. Like
yes,
it's like if you see any pictures where it shows the city in the background, the hotel is right there in that background as well. There's a balcony that you can walk out on and just basically sit there and like look right at it, which is going to be amazing. And the dates for that are going to be October 17th through the 19th. If anybody heard anything different, we had some things come up after we announced it the first time. And Keith and the guy and the board did their due diligence to see if there was any way to switch it, and they were able to make that happen. So it'll be October 17th through the 19th in St. Louis, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Yep. It's another Midwest location. I think guys will be able to come in from all over. I'm already planning driving. There's a lot of guys that are in kind of the same boat. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Never been to St. Louis, so should be awesome.
I have to say everything about it. The Arch is you're not ready. You just, I mean, you look at it, you think you know what you're talking about, but it's like the first time you see a mountain or something, and then go stand directly underneath it and spin. look straight up at it and spin. See how long it takes you to fall down.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
I will say that it's probably not something that many guys will probably be able to get up into, because it is a very tight fit. And
I think they closed it. Well, it might be open now. I'm sorry. I don't.
It might be open now, but yeah, no. My dad was telling me about it. He's like, it's really tight in there, and you can't really stand up and see anything. So it's kind of almost like, it's not worth it as much as like if you just go up in any other tall building type of deal. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, I'll stand underneath it. That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, I'm not going up there.
No.
It's fine.
It's all good. But no, so hopefully St. Louis will have so if you went to the convention, there's an email that would have been sent out with the early bird information. Hopefully you were able to take advantage of that. It was only open for a short window of time. And then we will reopen up ticket sales, I believe January 1st, if I'm not mistaken, is what I've heard.
Mhm.
So, but we'll,
Yep.
of course, we'll
I'm
let you all
checking
know
it.
that when it happens. But yeah, we'll hope to see you there. And, we'll be back next week with more fun conversations to talk about. We'll be talking about Germany, I would imagine, by that time. So I'm looking forward to hearing about your trip. And
Yep.
yeah, hopefully maybe you tried some fun beers. I don't know. We'll see.
Get my wife drunk. That's the
Get
plan.
some good
Maybe we'll-
Riesling wine. There you go. There you go. But anyway, until next week, we'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.